Good evening and welcome to tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting for July 11th, 2023. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Tauschek.
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Matzdorf. Here. Gilson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Penkwitz.
Here.
Shilsky. Here. Nelson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Thank you all for coming. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the June 27th, 2023 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next on the agenda is a presentation for Nut Hill this evening. We have it on the screen for the audience to see, and we have it in front of us here. I will make the comment that this is available on our website as well. So with that, Tim, did you want to introduce Joe?
Sure, I can just give
Okay.
a brief introduction.
Why don't you do that?
Nut Hill has not really been utilized for winter recreations since February 2014. So over the past year plus, a small group of Plymouth community members created a nonprofit called Cheese Capital Winter Park LLC to investigate the reestablishment of the Nut Ski Hill. So Joe Van Derven is here tonight to give a presentation on their efforts to this point and really the next steps moving forward in the project. So Joe?
Tim said I'm Joe Van Derven. I'm a Plymouth resident. I've lived here about 7.5 years, and before that, we lived in Plymouth for 6 years and then moved to Atlanta, and we liked it so much we came back. So, avid outdoorsman, and so today I'm going to go over what we put together for a vision for Nut Hill. So thanks for your time tonight. I appreciate that. And it's really about investing in and revitalizing Nut Hill and making it operational again and working. So tonight I'll go over the community members that have contributed to this presentation and to the vision. We'll talk about what that vision is, some survey results that we got from the community, a timeline of things that we've worked on and looking forward, and then some equipment that we would want to purchase from a capital investment perspective and have at the Hill, and then discussion and feedback and next steps. So this is a list of individuals that have contributed to this vision in a number of different ways. So most of them are Plymouth community members. Oops. All right. There we go. Enough mouse. All right. Our vision is to provide affordable winter recreational activities that facilitate skill development, healthy lifestyle, and improve life experiences for present and future generations of residents throughout East Central Wisconsin. We'd like to operate Nut Hill as a nonprofit organization, make significant improvements to the infrastructure, facilities, and property to support tubing, skiing, snowboarding, and eventually ice skating. We plan to raise capital funds to support snowmaking, grooming, building improvements, and land modifications, and install magic carpet. One of the things that we wanted to do before we started planning anything within, from an operational perspective at Nut Hill, and we wanted to put out a survey to the community, make sure that there was demand within the community to have Nut Hill operational. So in April of 2022, we partnered with the Plymouth School District, St. John's the Baptist, St. John's Lutheran, and kind of used their student population to send out a survey to their families. So we got over 450 families responded to a survey. There's more detail in the appendix of this presentation, but just from a high level perspective, 58% of respondents indicated that they had overall interest in a winter park complex in Plymouth at a 10. So 10 was the highest. So 58% of the respondents said 10, we want it. 84% of the respondents indicated their interest to be 8 or above. So a lot of demand within the city. So we said, all right, if there's demand in the city, let's move forward with a planning phase and see where we get. So from a timeline perspective, really around that August 21 and through July 22, we had discussions with the city and the mayor and some other people within the city about the operational challenges around Nut Hill. We found out that, you know, some of the equipment was old, staffing issues, things like that. We formed a group to assess what it would take to revitalize Nut Hill. Some of those members are here today. And again, we sent out the survey and saw that there was strong demand in the community. Then we kind of moved into our planning phase through September of 22 and January of 23, and we began working with a consulting group named Torrent. Torrent is an engineering firm out of Indiana that have done a lot of master plans for ski hills out west, in this region, and in the United States. We continued our transparency with the city, had multiple meetings to make sure that everybody was aware of what we were doing and give us feedback. We then created Cheese Capital Winter Park Incorporated as a nonprofit organization. And then in February of 23 through June of 23, we conducted community open houses. We had 3 open houses. One was for the adjacent property owners only, so we targeted them so that we could get their feedback. And then we had 2 open houses that were open to the community. We finalized the hill layout, and so right now we're working with J.E. Arthur, which is a firm that will do our engineering drawings for us. So they started work on some of the information gathering this past week, and so we're waiting for that final plan of what that will look like. We have verbal commitments of about $1.2 million in donations for this project at this point, and we'll continue moving into our capital campaign and funding. So if we get your feedback and it's positive, then we move into that next kind of stage, which is funding. So this is really kind of a stage 8 meeting for our group. We would move into our capital campaign, and we're looking to raise $3.5 million. And then during this time, we would look to work with the city on a lease for the building. So, and then we would move into early 24 and 25, and we'd look at the build phase. So we want about 85% of the capital raised before we placed any orders for piping, snowmakers, things like that. And then we'd receive that equipment and start our installations and things on the hill. And we look to be open and operational for the winter of 2025-26. I wanted to go through some of the equipment that we are looking to purchase, just so people have a visual of what it actually is. Upper left is what is called a magic carpet. So this is a device to get skiers and tubers up the hill. So they would stand on it. It's almost like a conveyor belt. So we would install this, and they would, this is how they would get up the hill. The next is a portable snowmaker, and then one on a pole. We would look at ordering 5 of the portable snowmakers so we could move them around the hill and make snow. We would look at purchasing a small groomer. So this is the smallest groomer that you can purchase. It's a Piston Bully 100, and this is how we would groom the hill and move the snow to where it needs to be. Usually when you're making snow, it's a big pile of snow, so you gotta get that around the hill. We'd also look at building a building to house the Piston Bully. I wanted to give some visuals, hard to see on the screen here, hopefully it's a little better for you guys, but this is the main hill. If you've been up to Nut Hill, you're standing looking north, and you're standing at the top of the hill. Where we would propose a tubing area is to the right of where it's mowed today. To the left of that would be a ski run.
Could you repeat that, please, one more time, sir?
Yes, you bet.
The direction you were looking down, I'm very interested.
You bet. So let me see if I can go back here. So the tubing area would be to skiers' right, so looking at the east side of the hill, down to the bottom of the hill. The skiing area would be more to the left and down to the bottom of the hill.
towards what's called the Bunny Hill, commonly known as, is the skiing area, just to clarify?
No,
No,
skiing
that's
area would be.
Right, so it's the Tubing Hill area, okay.
Tubing Hill area.
Okay, thank you.
During our meeting with the adjacent property owners, we originally had the magic carpet going up the middle of the hill on the previous slide, where it was mowed. We got feedback that, aesthetically, that's not a great look for the hill. So as a group, we took that feedback and we changed our plans to put the magic carpet up the existing total area. So it's a little bit more, it's kind of like a gully, and so you wouldn't see it very well in the summer. As you can see with the trees and things like that, it's very overgrown in that area, so aesthetically it would look a lot better for the hill. The next area would be to the west of the top of the hill, still looking north down the hill, but it would be to the west. So we're working from east to west. Our proposal is there's an existing ski run there right now. We would keep that ski run, widen it for a little bit of safety, and then also ski run down the middle of that hill. So if there were, one of the concerns for the property owners and I think for the community is tree removal. This minimizes the amount of tree removal that we have to do for it to be operational and have enough funds for it. Some of the discussion points that we've had with various individuals within the city is how we can make this partnership happen. So we would look at leasing the land, Nut Hill, for $1, and then having a term of about 20 years and being able to extend that based on our ability to operate that ski hill. We would raise capital funds for the infrastructure, for snowmaking, grooming, maintenance shed, a magic carpet, and modifications to the existing shelter so that we could enclose it with windows on the deck. So the deck is open right now, and there's panels that can be put up to hold heat in, but we would want to make that an area where you could see people skiing and things like that, so we have windows. We would take on the operational expenses. We would have marketing, merchandising, naming, and signing rights. We would retain the revenue of building rental, special events, ticket sales for the duration of the lease. We would retain the donations to the Hill and the nonprofit organization. We would determine the hours of operations within city ordinances. We would be able to upgrade equipment if financially viable. And we can make modifications to the existing building, including removal of structures and equipment, and modify the property with city oversight, so tree removal, installation of infrastructure, excavating, and soil. So for us, the next steps is really to get your feedback. It's to get the engineering drawings from J.E. Arthur. One of the areas that the adjacent property owners also voiced was the drainage of the water at the bottom of the hill, so we would take care of the cost to put in more drainage at the bottom of the hill, so that it's not going into people's backyards or flooding basements or anything like that. We would start our capital campaign. We'd start working with the city on drafting the lease. And then we present our plan to the finance and personnel and parks committees, and this would be more informal, looking for additional feedback and areas that we can improve our plan. Then we would come back and seek approval from the city council. We would place orders, start hill preparation, and begin installation of the infrastructure, and then again, looking at open in 24-25. That's all I had to present. We do have, I did add in an appendix with some additional information on kind of the history of Nut Hill, some more of the survey details, talking about why it's good for the community, the capital investment that we would need, and kind of a breakdown of that capital investment, some working models on operational costs and pro forma, and then snowmaking projections and statistics. I'm open to to any questions or discussion.
Thank you, Joel. We appreciate it, and as I said in the introductions, this is on the city website for those that want to view it a little longer and in detail. We know that this is a quick overview here, and we appreciate the information that's presented. This is a committee of the whole, and if the council members have any questions, would you take a couple questions, Joel?
Absolutely.
If the chair will allow questions, if any of the council members have anything in particular they want to ask. We also encourage any follow-up to be funneled through Tim and his office, and we can always get more answers in that respect too. So, any questions at all? We appreciate, Diane?
I was wondering if any of the people that live there had any concerns about the extra snow and the flooding.
Yeah, they did, and they brought that up in the open house. In the appendix, you'll see statistics of about 3 million gallons of water, so we're between 2 and 3, depending on how much God-given snow we get. So to, put their concerns at rest, what we're doing is we're having the engineering firm that's doing the drawings put in how much it would cost to add extra drainage at the bottom of the hill. So we would capture that water and make sure that it wasn't going into people's backyards and the living space. So that was a good aspect of that meeting. That's a true concern, and people did talk about in the past the basements having water after the snowmaking.
There is some drainage there now, and it would simply be expanded based on design and so on.
That's correct.
Okay. No. So if we do have people in the audience tonight, certainly because it is a committee of the whole, this is a council activity, and the discussion is with the council. That's why it's presented on TV for replay and on our website. If you do have questions as well, please submit any questions to the clerk's office for Tim, and we can certainly get follow-up on that. So with that, we thank you very much for the presentation. I think it has a lot of interest in the community. After being down from 2014, it's been a long time. So thank you much, and the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn until our council meeting at 7 o'clock.
So moved to adjourn. Second, Hildebrand.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.